Hey y'all, it's Asha Sarish, your favorite life coach, content strategist, and event curator, and I'm back with another review. We are reviewing Love is Blind Season 7, so spoiler alert, let's get into the next couple. This is Tim and Alex, and let me say this. I was really enjoying parts of their journey in the pods. I really felt like they have a lot of potential as a couple. I think they look decent together and they shared some very vulnerable and transparent moments. But what I'm going to say about this couple is I don't think they're going to work. And I think that they were doing a lot of trauma bonding. Before I get into their fun facts, let me just share some things that I did like about them. I felt like they had a lot of those commonalities and synchronicities going on as well with their connection in the pods. I think her last name is Bird and his last name is like Goldsby or something like that. So they came up with like the birds and the bee theme for their relationship. Um, he is, I'm gonna get into what his sign is, but I think it's a Virgo. But he has a lion tattoo on him, and he always said he wanted to get a lioness tattooed on him when he found his wife, and she just so happens to be a Leo, which was, a synchronicity. And then they shared a lot of vulnerable moments because both of her parents have MS. So she's seen a lot of pain with their journey with their health. And then he lost two of his only siblings, his two older sisters he lost. He didn't share the cause of one of the sisters' death, but the other one passed away from a chronic illness. And let me get into the fun facts. Tim is 33. He's a web content strategist, a Virgo. He's a self proclaimed old soul, which I did pick up. He has been set on marriage from a young age. That was another thing that I saw that they had in common. They really, really valued and prioritized marriage for very different reasons, though. Tim, he prioritized marriage because he saw his parents in a long lasting, healthy, loving marriage, and he wanted to have that for himself. And Alex, her father was married, and she said with him having MS, she saw how his wife has taken care of him. And then her mother was just in a long term relationship. And when her MS started, when her symptoms started getting complicated, her man, who she wasn't married to, just left her. So she sees the value and the benefits of marriage and having that commitment of being there in thick and thin and sickness and health, death do you part. So it says that Tim, among his group of friends, his pursuit of love has become something of a running joke as they've been waiting not so patiently for him to find his person. So, they waiting on him to find love because he probably been talking about it. Alex is 33. She's a producer. On the show, it said that she was a fashion content designer or something like that. So I felt like that was something they had in common, the content occupation. She's a Leo, and it says Alexandra would love a diamond on her finger, but she's already got some precious metal of her own. Her heart is made of gold. She says she can get along with literally anyone, and she's really easy to talk to. Unfortunately, her exes haven't exactly handled her heart with care, as both of her longest relationships have ended quite dramatically. She said one ex wasn't upfront about his sexual orientation, and another one was unfaithful. Mm. So, again, I really felt like they had a beautiful, beautiful connection in the pods. There was a lot of vulnerability, there was a lot of openness. Um, they really opened up about the things that they've been through, which is why I said that there was a lot of trauma bonding going on because there was, I think, towards the end of their connection, like when it was time to wrap up and find out if you're going to choose this person or not, he was saying how they've been able to have these deep conversations, but he wasn't sure if he could have fun with her because most of the times it was low key like a little therapy session up in the pods. There were tears. He was talking about the memories of his sisters, which is beautiful. You should be able to share what you've been through and how you're feeling with your partner. Absolutely. But I feel like their foundation of their connection, it may have not necessarily been all the way a connection. It could have been some attachment going on, some unhealthy attachment. due to the trauma bonding. There's a difference between connection and attachment. And attachment kind of has some negative connotation to it when you're dealing with trauma bonding and you're basing your relationship off of the traumas you have in common. So, anywho, I still feel like they had some beautiful moments, and there is a beautiful connection in there as well outside of the trauma bonding. He even gifted her with his sister's charm bracelet that she actually gifted to the other sister because he felt like his sisters, if they were still here, they would love her. And since she doesn't get a chance to meet them physically, he wanted to be able to give that to her, which is deep to give someone such a sentimental gift before you even see them, before you get to know them. But it happened, you know. I was smiling during a lot of their connection because it was beautiful. I think definitely the emotional connection translated into the physical connection for the most part. I feel like he was bringing up insecurities that weren't necessary to bring up. He's like, confession, my bottom teeth are crooked. And he showed her his bottom teeth, and she was like, mine too. Like, I didn't feel like that was necessary. Like, she probably wasn't even thinking about your teeth, but I get it. Everybody has their insecurities. Everybody expresses them, out of nervousness. They had just met. That's a big deal. Like, you've gotten to know this person, you love them already, and then you're meeting them, you're nervous, you don't know what to say. I get it. So I wasn't sure if she was all the way attracted to him, like if he's her typical type, but I think that there's some attraction there. So I started seeing some of the red flags when they got to Cabo. And the red flags were coming from both of them because he was getting on her nerves. He kept saying this phrase like, that's my dog. That's my dog. I think he's talking about his real dog. And it's annoying to her. So she did not hide the fact that she was irritated. It was in her face. And she basically like, if you say that one more time, like at first she kind of tried to kiki it away like it was a joke. But then she's like, all right. And he's like, I love that you hate it. Like everything that got on her nerves, like they went hat shopping and he was trying on these hats that she hated. And he's like, I love that you hate it. I love that you hate it. And I get everybody has their certain humor, but it almost didn't feel like humor. It almost felt like it's just like a clash of personalities, a clash of style, a clash of like, you know how some people want you to match their fly? Like she already feels like he don't match her fly. And I could see her wanting to change a lot about him instead of like just liking him as he is right now. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to upgrade your partner, or style them or put them on to certain things, but there are like real personality flaws that she sees in him that she doesn't like, and she's not able to hide it. And I feel like a little bit of control issues were coming out on her end because she's just like she wants him to adjust per her feelings, and he's not doing it. And so when they all met with the other couples, they expressed how they're both dominant, and he's like, I need someone that's dominant because I'm not gonna I'm going to push, so I need somebody to push back. And that can be a good thing, but that can also be a bad thing. That's like, two dominant people, they're going to eventually butt heads. And another thing, he already set the boundary of I don't argue. I don't go back and forth. I don't argue. And if I get to that point, then I'm already done. It's time for me to go because I don't get to that point easily. And I noticed that she kind of looked a certain way because I think she's probably the type that likes to argue or naturally is argumentative. So before the end of this episode, I already could see that there was some tension between them. And sure enough, I don't know what happened, but the producer showed them having a conversation the next day where he's coming into the room as if he didn't sleep in the same room with her. They had some type of blow up where she said that she was homesick, and so she shut down and shut him out and didn't say anything. And he was trying to get her to tell him what was wrong with her, to the point where it turned into an argument. Like he said, he doesn't argue back and forth, but he did. And apparently she said some things that he feels like is a deal breaker for him. And she was seemingly like she regretted whatever she said. And he seemed like he is already checked out emotionally. She wants to hug and make up and say that we can fix this. But even if they do, I feel like he's already checked out and I don't see it happening. What do you think?